Script attached to this PowerPoint we've chosen a couple of phases that we think are important to start off with some training and policy procedures to assure that we're working efficiently. So we've taken intake, demand, negotiations, case statutes, and lean research as far as the most important phases of the cases right now. The intake being that, we need to maintain the new case flow coming in, more work obviously for stability and for job assurance for us. So we want to make sure that we're getting cases in, but on top of getting cases in, we want to make sure that we're protecting them. So the case statute is something that we want to make sure that we're docketing, monitoring carefully, and that we have some kind of method to use where we are not missing deadlines and it's not costing us extra to refile or ask for many extensions. So bringing in new cases, but taking care of them and keeping them alive with those deadlines. And also the lien searches, anybody who is attaching their 2 cents into a settlement or the case, we want to make sure that we get them paid if they are really entitled for some sort of reimbursement. So lien searching is also going to be important because we definitely don't want anybody chasing us after a case has been closed out and dispersed on. Otherwise, that costs money to the firm. So bringing in new cases, protecting them, and assuring payment to everybody, but also the fact of negotiating and demand phase. The negotiation and demand phase is the phase where we want most of the cases to be in. 40 to 60% of cases want to be there so that we have a constant turnover in negotiations going on or settlements coming in. So the more cases that we have reaching that phase is great for us because that'll help us maintain a revenue on a monthly basis of anywhere between $200,000 and $500,000 a month, and that's with a 40 to 60% case average in that phase. So right now we have a slight decrease of 20% of some of those cases that are not in that stage, which is hurting the monthly revenue. However, we want to make sure again that we increase that phase of the case because we want to make sure that we have continuing revenue coming in, otherwise the company doesn't make money. But we always know that any change or implementation of a policy and procedure or new methods that we want to try to use for case management comes with cost. Costs can vary anywhere from $2,000 to $20,000, I believe, maybe for the first year. And that's including, any legal software systems that we want to add, perhaps new hiring of staff or staff turnover, or that we may want to be, attending classes, seminars, education, future education for staff or anyone, and, where we want to conduct these trainings at, stuff like that. So we definitely want to make sure and take into consideration that costs can be, the cost for training can be high for the first year, perhaps, and that barriers within that may come about. So barriers such as, the costs being a problem. If we're not making the money, then we need to make sure that we, use other methods of training that may not be, so costly at the beginning. So maybe, money being of a barrier at first, or, the turnover of staff because they're feeling overwhelmed and, this is just isn't working for them with the policy and procedure in place, or, that the staff just really isn't happy and we need to make certain changes to policies and procedures. A lot of trial and error is going to come about. So if one thing is not working, it's just, going to be a matter of adapting to another type of change to come up with another solution, for another policy or procedure or something, another tactic that may work. So a lot of those things may, become a barrier. But the only proper way to analyze and see if this is going to work is by offering a lot of the training, offering classes, seminars, mentoring, coaching, attorney meetings, quarterly meetings. Are we meeting or not meeting the quotas that we want? So offering a lot to the staff and offering and giving policy procedure in writing, getting a lot of feedback, keeping an open door policy is, ways that we can certainly reach these goals. And the way that we can, that we will be able to evaluate these things is by doing quarterly assessments. How well did we do this quarter versus the last quarter? Is our monthly revenue where we want to maintain at the 500,000 a month on a high end, or have we beat it? If we beat it, that's great. Or do we have a lot of staff turnover ever since we implemented changes and procedures and policies and procedures, or do we have the same staff and now we just need to add more staff to continue to grow? That's going to be a method of evaluating if this is really working or not. Um, are we having new suits coming? Are we growing within the caseload? Did we have 500 cases in the last quarter? Now we have 800. Then we have 300 new cases that just came in. So there's different methods to evaluating this, but the overall method in or concept of this is going to be that we have happy staff, a great team. The firm continues to grow. With staff, with reputation, with revenue, of course, and just that good legal process of a case. So we want to have a happy customer at the beginning, but also a satisfied customer at the very end, and that is only with policy procedure and certain tactics and special tactics, and just making sure that the staff is happy so that we can provide that great customer service and continue to grow professionally and personally.